So I'm at the fuel dock at La Restinga in Hierro, smallest of the Canary Islands. Filling the boat with water, about to embark on the 700 and something odd mile passage to Cape Verde, to Sal. It's not the same degree of nervousness before this one as there was with Biscay. Obviously I've a good few more miles under my belt, and also it's not as, it doesn't have the reputation that Biscay has. And yeah, I feel more ready, so all good. So I'm just pulling out of Restinga, starting my 750 mile single-handed passage to Cape Verde from Hierro in the Canary Islands. It's around lunchtime on Wednesday, November the 2nd, and all going well, by Tuesday next week or early Wednesday morning I'll be in. So I'm super excited about this passage. It'll be my longest single-handed passage. We're just clearing the coastline here. So that's the sails up. Time to call family and say that I am off, and time to turn off the engine and do some logbook. Oh, this is going to be blissful. So leaving from Hierro, it's probably going to give me a bit of an advantage in that not many people are going from here. So most of the traffic between the Canaries and Cape Verde is yachts, and they're mostly going obviously north to south towards Cape Verde. All of the big shipping goes inshore closer to the coast of Africa. There's no real reason for them to come out this far. Thousands of seabirds all around the boat. The passage I'm making just now is from Hierro, the smallest and westmost of the Canary Islands, down to Sal in the Cape Verde Islands. You can see the Canary current sweeps through her at half a knot to 1 knot, which will be helping us. The wind is predominantly from the northeast, which is kind of fine. At the moment we're on a port tack with the sails both out on the starboard side. The headsail is flying fine. Wow! Crispy little dudes. Jeez. So first night at sea over. The wind has picked up a bit now and I'm sailing wing on wing, dead downwind. It's taken a while to get her settled. Just a combination of remembering how the wind vane likes to balance in these situations. But she looks like she's starting to steer her course now, and we're going along at about 4.5 knots. So good enough night's sleep, 20-minute naps at a time. Starting to gust up a bit now, which is forecast. Welcome, to be honest. Rather that than tootling along with 3 knots. This is quite nice sailing now, wing on wing. So day 1 done. 93 miles for the day, which is not amazing, but it's a start. And yeah, sort of downwind most of the way, but just very light winds overnight, so just happy enough just to totter along. And then the wind has filled in now today, and it's forecast to continue increasing throughout today and into tomorrow. Yeah, apart from that, moral is okay. I'm starting to remember that I think every passage is going to be like, the first couple of days are going to be tough. Like that's just a fact of single handling. Like, you're going to be exhausted and nervous, and just it takes a while to get into the swing of it, but hopefully in the next day or two I'll settle into it, and yeah, it's a challenge all over again. But yeah, only one day, and I think as long as the wind holds steady. It's quite frustrating going downwind and not having a good wind angle. I need to just forget about the angle and just let the boat go where she goes and jibe as necessary when I get closer to Cabo Verde. So it's morning time, coming up to 2 full days on out of El Hierro, and all's going pretty well. The wind has filled in nicely, so it's sort of blowing a steady 5 now, I would imagine, and sea state has kind of picked up to match. There's not a huge swell or anything, it's just a sort of a short, sharp chop sort of thing that is. We're surfing down quite nicely. We're on a dead run at the minute. Goose winged with a single reef in the main and a sort of semi rolled away head sail. Pretty perfect trade wind sailing conditions, just beautiful, downwind, strong but not too strong, bit of a swell but not too big. Been getting better, averaging about 5.3, 5.4 knots in the last couple of 3-hour periods. So, yeah, if it continues like that, well, this will be a pretty perfect passage. And sunny, really sunny. So yesterday, which was my first full day, I had a kind of an up and down sort of day. I was a bit vaguely seasick and just not nervous really, just kind of not settling into it and just a bit frustrated with being all over the place, and today is a complete contrast to that. It's just beautiful, and everything is just settling in perfectly. The boat's sailing herself just absolutely fine. I haven't really had to have any input at all since I reefed last night. The Aries is one tooth wrong. When I disassembled her in Cascais, putting her back together, I think I've just missed the gear by 1 tooth, so the leg isn't fully kicked to one side, which I'll have to fix before the Atlantic crossing. It's not like completely disastrous or anything. She still works really, really well, really. It's just, I know it could be better, you know. So we just crossed the Tropic of Cancer. We're somewhere roughly around here, which is not quite halfway, but it's not a million miles away from halfway. We have another 40 or 50 miles to go until the halfway point. Actually, I haven't been on deck that much on this passage because it's been pretty windy, to be honest, the last couple of days, and it's kind of cold on deck, or not quite cold, just blustery and uncomfortable. So I've been down below a lot reading and watching TV and sleeping whenever I can. So I'm gonna go out and sit in the sun for a wee while. Just saw my first shoal of flying fish just diving away from the boat, so I'd say maybe 10 or 15 of the little guys all just jumping up at once and flying back. So that's literally like 10 minutes after crossing into the tropical waters. I see flying fish. Brilliant. So a great day in terms of progress. We're flying along. With the last 24 hours we've made 132 nautical miles, which is the best day I've had on the trip by about 9 miles. So averaging about 5.5 knots, and yeah, just absolutely flying it downwind. Overall just going really, really well. So yeah, we're right exactly on the halfway point now, so 360 miles done and 360 miles left to go. So yeah, the first 4 or 5 hours in the tropics, it's definitely getting warmer when sitting out in the cockpit, even though it's quite windy. At the halfway point in my other single-handed passage, I kind of summed up how I was feeling about everything, and the good, the bad and the ugly, and yeah, the good on this passage is mostly good, to be honest. It's just the boat has been pretty much perfect, apart from that one issue with the self-steering, which really hasn't been much of an issue. The bad, really, it's like anything that you do for the second time, like you find it like there's less of a sense of achievement in it. Like crossing Biscay, it was like I had all along underneath the apprehension and everything, there was a sense of achievement of that I was really doing something amazing. Whereas this time it's kind of like, oh yeah, well, this is another passage. It is starting to occur to me that I have never been to Cape Verde before. I've never sailed this far south before, never sailed in the tropics before. So there's a lot of firsts that I have to focus on, and that I am focusing on, and really looking forward to exploring around Cape Verde. And also the fact that this is the last passage, the last major passage before the Atlantic crossing. Yeah, lovely sunset. This will be the 4th night at sea, and it's going really well. What can I say? It's we're flying along. We've made 132 miles for the last 24 hours. And really no sign of slowing up. The wind has died a little, but the waves are still picking us up and kind of chugging us along to 5.5 or 6, even 6 knots averages over 3-hour periods. Damn it, I keep missing the flock of flying fish. Flock? No. School, I guess. Maybe they're a school when they're in the water and a flock when they're in the air. Come out. Since crossing the Tropic of Cancer, there's been a really noticeable change to the amount of sea life that I'm seeing. It's almost entirely flying fish, but they're everywhere, like absolutely everywhere. And just almost every second you'll hear a wave, I go through a kick up a big cloud of them just flying through the air. And there's seabirds, like way more than I experienced in Biscay or any of the other crossings I've done. So that's all really cool. It just feels, the sea feels much more alive. So this is my progress between El Hierro and Cape Verde. Just logged day 4, which is it was 131.9, so that's my second day over 130 in a row, and my second longest day ever after yesterday. So caught a mahi. Very small. Would have thrown him back, but there was no getting him off the hook. So that said, it'll be 2 nice fillets for me. Perfect for a single-hander. But today really was the day of the flying fish. They were just absolutely everywhere. So morning of day 5. This is now the longest passage that I've done single-handed. Actually, it's the longest passage I've ever done. I think we're coming up on 600 miles. With about 135 left to go. Dawn on the morning of my last day at sea on this passage. Sal, the Cabo Verde is about 25-30 miles this way. We're dead downwind and we're going to struggle to make it around the tip of the island without jibing, so may have to do that in the next short while. But just came up for a bit of breakfast. I didn't sleep a huge amount last night, but I think I've probably got enough hours banked to feel fairly okay for taking her in. So it's very hazy here, but I've just spotted land. Cape Verde is about 15 miles that way, and I can make out one of the mountains on it now. It's a pretty low-lying island, and it's very hazy here this morning, which I think is pretty common in Cape Verde, or in Sal in particular. But yeah, landfall. After 700 miles at sea and coming up on 6 days, and I'm absolutely delighted. It's a different sort of delight from Biscay, where there was like a massive measure of relief in there. Like this is just kind of just happy, and a little slice of how I'm going to feel when I get to Martinique, which is going to be unbelievable. yeah, for now, just 20 more miles to go, get her in, get the anchor down, get checked in and have a long sleep. Although, like I said, I don't feel completely exhausted. It's not too bad overall. So here's Sal now. I feel like I've been approaching it forever. It's one of those ones that actually appeared way further in the distance than I thought it would. But Almeria is not too far down on the western side, which is the side I'm kind of looking down now. I'm looking directly south